Welcome back, guys. It's time for another great late night podcast with Bridget and Holly. I'm Holly,
And I'm Bridget.
and tonight's topic that we're going to be talking about is sleeping separately. Do you think it ruins a relationship? So, Bridget, I'm going to start with you first because this is kind of new for me, and you have changed like my perspective on things. So, let's start with you and how long this has been going on with you and what your intake is on it.
Okay, so as far as me and my husband, we do have separate bedrooms and we sleep separately. So, and we even sleep separately on vacation. We sleep separately in the camper all the time. And you have some people that are hardcore, absolutely not, da, 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 da. And then you have some people that are like, no, I like my cuddle time. And then you're like, there's different perspectives on it. But I do think there's one common disbelief about it, and that is, or misconception rather, and that is if you're sleeping separate, you don't have a good marriage. Now, you and all my friends know that that's the furthest thing from the truth. We're extremely happy. We have a wonderful marriage. We're a great couple. We work great together. But my view of that is quality sleep is imperative to quality life.
Yeah,
And I think if
absolutely.
you're not sleeping good, I think if all these things are you're tossing and turning at night, blah blah blah, and there's so many reasons we sleep separate, and I'll get into all of those. But just to kind of to let y'all know, we do sleep separately. We have a great marriage. The misconception is not at all true. But Holly, what about you and Jay?
Well, for I like just years and years, that's just always what we've done. And I actually had a surgery that caused me to have to sleep like in the recliner, and I couldn't like sleep in the bed. I had to sleep in the recliner because I couldn't lay on like my stomach or my side and stuff like that. And
Right.
I did that for a few months, and it was a little weird, and then it got comfortable.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I used to always think, okay, if you don't sleep in the same bed, and oh my God, your marriage is falling apart, something is
Right.
wrong. And
Yeah.
that stems from seeing friends that I have and family members that sleep in separate beds, and they legit have a problem.
Oh yeah.
And for us, it's not, because when we want to cuddle, we go in the bedroom and we cuddle. When we want to have sexy time, we go to the bedroom and have sexy time. You know,
Right.
I sleep a lot better because Jason sleeps like the moon. So we have a king size bed. And y'all know that's a huge bed, like six people can sleep in it. But he sleeps where his ass is bowed this way towards me. So we got this huge bed, and he's got like 4 feet from his body to the wall, and then I'm like on this little bit on the edge of the bed,
Yep.
and he's like a furnace when
Yeah.
he sleeps up against me, and he goes to move, I'm drenched in sweat. So it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've recently been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and now true, my machine is very quiet, but it's it's different when you're sleeping in a bed by yourself with your machine than when you're sleeping with your significant other, because you got to maneuver everything and you're cuddling, and you don't want the hose to wrap around him, and it's like looking
Right.
like Darth Vader at nighttime. And but I have found that it doesn't mean that anything is wrong with your relationship. It just means you both are more comfortable sleeping in your own space, because then you don't have to worry about the other person.
Right.
Because like I said, I feel like, if you want to cuddle, you want to have sexy time, your bedroom's right there. It's always going to be right there.
Right. Right. Well, and what you mentioned, like I said, okay, so some of our reasons are we have very different schedules. I'm a night owl. He's an early bird. He goes to bed at 9 o'clock at night. I go to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. So by the time he's waking up, I'm going to bed. So we would lay in the bed and he would be like, I wish you'd get off that phone. because I'd have the phone playing on it, or listening to TikTok, or watching TV. Wish you'd cut that TV off. And then he'd be up at 5 o'clock in the morning when I was trying to go to sleep, doing the same thing. And I'd be like, "How about you shut that off?" So we were always never on the same schedule. Like you said, I have restless leg syndrome. I move all night long. He's a light sleeper. It would wake him up. Then he couldn't go back to sleep. Then we would have situations where, you know, like you said, he would be hot. Oh my God, men are like furnaces. They are. And he'd be hot and he's sweating in
Yeah.
his sleep. And I was like, oh my God. And so finally, what happened with us was, um, my kids started moving out. We started the empty nester journey, and so my first son moved out, then my second son, and then when my first son moved out, I was like, first we turned it into a game room. We turned his room into a game room, and then I was like, I really want an extra bed in there. And I said, on the weekends when you're at home, I'll just sleep in there on the weekends when you're home. And he's like, absolutely not. My wife's gonna sleep with me, he said. And and what happened was I said, listen, let's just try it one weekend. It's no big deal. We'll just try it one weekend. Well, what was interesting is we both slept better. Okay, nobody was disturbing each other and telling them to turn something off to this, and this. And we slept better, but also we started noticing, because one weekend, of course, turned to two, and then three, and then four, and then I got to where it was my full time bedroom. I slept in there even when he wasn't home, because I didn't like, going back and forth between the bedrooms.
Right.
But we started noticing it was kind of exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because he would come if he wanted sexy time, he'd come to my room, or I'd sneak in his room in the middle of the night, and you'd feel him crawl in bed, and you'd be like, "Oh, what you doing?" And he'd be like,
Right.
so it started making it exciting. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
like, yeah. So
Kind of like you
we've
were
noticed,
sneaking over in each other's rooms and you
yeah,
living with your parents and you're like, oh my God, come on, come through my window.
exactly. So we started finding it was more exciting, and just like you said, to us, we'll lay in bed or we'll sit in the living room and we'll cuddle and watch TV, and or we'll lay in bed and cuddle, or he'll come in here and lay on my bed till he starts to doze off, and then he'll say, well, honey, I'm going to my room. Like when it's nighttime, it's time to actually for him to fall asleep, is when we part ways. Because I'm gonna ask you, when somebody's over snoring and sleeping, they're snoring, tossing, turning, sweating. What are you missing? What do
Yeah.
you've done did the cuddling? What are you actually missing? You're missing the miserable part of it.
Well, now,
Now,
it's funny because I'm a snorer and Jason is he's a low key, mild snorer. Like, it's like very faint. And I would always say, "Oh my God, like, how do I not keep you up?" And I mean, I snore like a fucking like chainsaw. That's what it sounds like.
yeah,
And he said, "I like when you snore." I said, "You do?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Because I know you're always there, right beside me."
right,
And I'm like, "I don't know how you do it because even when we would sleep together, there would be times his snoring would wake me up, and I'd have to shake him and say, 'Baby, baby,' just to get him to stop." And
right,
then about an hour later, "Baby, baby, you're snoring," and that does interrupt your sleep, and it breaks up the
right.
sleep realm.
Right. Well, just like you said, some people don't like that repetitive noise. You know what I'm saying? Like me, when I go to sleep, my room, everything has to be quiet except for white noise. Like I have a fan running, and I have my air purifier. I like to hear that noise. But I can't have TV. I can't have music. I turn my phone on silent. Any noise like that, and it has to be pitch dark. I can't have any light. And my husband's the type that he likes a little TV going at night. So those things. But you know what other interesting I think I found about having separate bedrooms?
What?
That's kind of cute. I can decorate my space the way I like it, and he can decorate his space the way he likes it.
That is true because our bedroom, yeah, I mean, it's still our bedroom, but I've got it decorated to my taste. His man
Yeah,
cave, which is where he sleeps at, it's all decked out in manly stuff.
yeah,
And I used to be opposite because I would have to have a light on and the TV running.
right,
And now when I go to bed, I have to have it dark. It's got to be cold in there. I'm like you, white noise. I have a ceiling fan. I have to have my ceiling fan running. I cannot sleep
right.
without a fan. It's dead. It can be dead winter. My
Right.
ceiling fan is running 24/7.
Right.
And it's so weird how you change over the years, and he, our work schedule, the way we work, it works, but we're on opposite schedules. So like I work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Right.
He
Right.
works Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Well, when I'm going to sleep and he's off, I don't want him to have to come in there and go to bed with me, and he wants to stay in his room gaming. And I
Right.
sure don't want to listen to him gaming while I'm sleeping,
Right.
and I just feel like when you got something that works and there's no problems, then why not? There's nowhere in the rule book of marriage or a
Right.
relationship that says you must sleep together in the bed. You
Right.
must do that.
Right. Well, I think when I remember now, I've never been ashamed of it. Now I know where there's a lot of people that sleep separate, just like you said. They don't have separate bedrooms, but the husband sleeps on the couch every night, or the wife sleeps in the recliner every night, and they're not sleeping together, but they don't admit it. So I think when I come out on TikTok and I openly admitted it, I think that was one of my videos that went viral, and it wasn't because the video itself was that great. It was like everybody said, "Y'all sleep separate? Do what? Tell me more about this." Like
Yeah.
people were very shocked about it, because it's kind of like taboo, and people started speculating, are you happy, is your marriage bad, or no, absolutely not. It's amazing, it's better now. I mean, we've always had a good marriage, but it's like every year we get more and more solid. And because we both sleep good, because you got to think,
Right.
you wake up, you haven't slept good, you're going to be cranky, you're ill, you're short tempered, you didn't get much rest last night, and you don't have a quality day. You really
No,
don't.
you don't. You don't,
Mm-mm.
because not getting enough rest. I mean, hell, just from when I don't even use my CPAP machine, you see how it affects me. My feet's up, I'm out
Yeah.
because my body is deprived of sleep. So imagine, your sleep just being interrupted through the night. That's going to take wear and tear on you too, because
It does.
it sleep is so crucial. And me and you are the same. We can have like 3-4 hours of sleep and our body can run fine. But you got some people out there who have to have a good solid 8 hours of sleep.
Yes.
Our bodies don't work like that. Me and you are night owls.
Yeah.
Now, Jason will try and be a night owl, but usually he ends up passing out in his room from sleep deprivation around midnight, or sometimes
Yeah.
10 or 11. Like it's 11 o'clock right now, and he's been back there asleep since probably 8:30.
Right.
But he does have to go to work in the morning and be there by 7.
Right.
So why am I gonna have him go in my room and me, our bedroom, and me interrupt him going in
Right.
and out and getting this and that and laying in the bed and playing on my iPad, on my iPhone, or reading a book or something. So it's
Right.
just, I feel like it's more of a courtesy thing.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate you and care about you enough to where I want you to have a good night's sleep
Yeah.
without any interruptions. And then there are times where we do still sleep together in the bed. Is it every night?
Yeah.
No, but we still do sleep together in the bed. It's just not an everyday thing, because you just get in your routine,
Yeah.
and you wake up feeling refreshed and feeling good.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, just like you said, so let's go back to my husband's schedule and what you were saying, Jay. So my husband goes to bed at 9 o'clock at night. Well, I would love to crawl in my bed. Let's say we're sleeping together. I would love to crawl in my bed and lay there and watch TV, or relax in my bed and still play on my phone, or play games, or talk on the phone, whatever.
Yeah,
Well, if I'm sleeping with him, then I've got to make a choice. I either lay beside him and disturb his sleep, or I continue to have to sit in the living room and do those things when everything in me would just want to be in my bed doing it. By having your separate space, you're able to, do that. You're able to go to bed and still do the things you want to do and not disturb your partner. And I also say too, like, I don't know. I think even young couples, like if I talked to Brittany and Kyle, she would do it. My daughter Brittany would do it in a heartbeat, because they have a spare bedroom, and they have, like one of them hadn't felt good or have a headache or whatever, and they will sleep and she'd tell you, she said, I will do it. I would do it every single night, but he will
right.
not have it. But a lot of young people wouldn't. But now, I honestly, if I had it to do over with, I would have started out in my 20s sleeping separate, because
Sleeping
raising
separately.
kids and all the demands of raising children and stuff,
Yes.
that would have made a big difference, in your rest.
Yeah, that is true. That you probably would have woke up more refreshed and not as tired when you're taking care of babies. So
Yep.
that is true. That is true about that. And
Yeah.
it's just, there, for example, so um, I'm pretty sure people are going to recognize this when I say it, but I've told you about it. There's a show called Big Brother that
Yeah.
comes on CBS, and it's about 12 to 16 strangers that all live in a house, hadn't never met. Well, they do have some twists where you do know each other, but 9 out of 10 times it's people from all different states and stuff like that don't know each other.
Right.
And it's been coming on for, just say this is the 25th season. Well, one of the most popular couples from that show is Jeff and Jordan. They met on Big Brother, and they've been together ever since. They're married, they've got kids, and
Mhm.
they sleep in separate rooms. And they're
Yeah.
younger than we are. I
Yeah.
think Jordan is in her 30s, and Jeff might either be in his 30s or possibly early 40s, but it works for them too. She was talking about how she likes a really cold room, and she likes a fan like we do, and she likes it quiet and dark. As to where Jeff likes it with, you know, episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he likes it warm and toasty. And their
Right.
marriage is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're an amazing couple, and it's just it's like it's I don't think it's not uncommon. It's just not spoken about because, like you
Right.
said, you speak of two people who aren't sleeping in the same bed, they've got to be having marital issues. Well,
Yeah.
y'all, that is not true. That is not true whatsoever.
No.
So I'm totally on that side of don't knock it until you try it,
Amen.
because just because you do it doesn't mean that something's wrong.
Right. Because to me, I think, of course, we're in our 50s now, so we're not having sex like we did in our 20s or 30s. You
Right?
know what I'm saying? I think it's not, but there's still sexy time. And like you said, it's one of those things to where I think it's more exciting and stuff. But I want to ask people the question: what is it that you're actually doing when you're asleep? You're asleep,
Yeah,
you know?
nothing.
And we spend time together up until the time one or the other of us go to sleep. So you're not missing anything. We still have as much sex as we would sleeping in the same bed. We still have as much cuddle time as we would sleeping in the same bed. That absolutely doesn't have anything to do with it. But like you said, I think it's people that have come out and said, people that are in happy marriages that's come out and said, we sleep separate and we're fine. Because like you said, there was a time, I think, like I said, when I first brought it on TikTok, it was like, oh, what?
You're
But
like, oh
I
my god,
think,
that's unheard of. What?
yeah, but like you said just, talking to you, I feel different about it. Because, like, let's say, for instance, when we first started talking, if you didn't know we slept separate and you and Jay, he was sleeping in his game room and you were sleeping on the bed most of the time, 5 nights out of 7, y'all were sleeping separate. And I would have said, well, do y'all sleep together or separate? You'd probably say, oh, no, we sleep together, because people don't want you to think that. They don't want you to
Yeah,
think that they're not sleeping together, which, to your point, like you were saying, me feeling, oh, you made me think different. Now I've got some of my friends, I don't want to say their name because I don't want their business out there, but even some of my friends are like, I might try that. And they're trying it. And you'll have one or the other, like, one say, yes, I really love it. And the other one's like, I'm still getting
yeah,
used to it. But they both admit they do sleep better, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, by having their own space.
Exactly. Yeah, I think just your own personal space is just it's so much better because you can relax, you can clear your mind, you don't have anybody tugging at you and wallering all over you and stuff. You can just be yourself and just go to sleep because my internal clock is so weird because I am a night owl,
Yeah, me too.
and I've been told ever since I was little I fight sleep, and it's like I'm afraid that I'm gonna miss something, and I don't know why. I have no idea why I'm like that. You got something flying?
No, I'm half believing this story.
Oh, oh no! Wait a minute. She got something flying around her thing, but um, I don't
Y'all,
know why.
when we first met, she told me, she said, "I'm a night owl. I fight sleep all the time. Da da da. Every time I talk, I'll be talking with you. Next thing I know, she goes quiet for 2 or 3 hours. I'll be like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I fell asleep.
but that's where the sleep apnea kicks in,
Oh yeah,
because you can ask anybody. Like, I will fight sleep. I will not go to sleep. I will stay up late. But I guess with me getting older and having, because I have severe obstruct sleep apnea, so my body is so deprived of sleep that any little chance that I'm sitting there and I'm just relaxing, I'm gone. Like,
yeah,
I can sleep from 30 minutes to 1 hour to 3 hours, and I'll wake up feeling rejuvenated. And I'm like, oh, and it's because even though I slept through the night, I my body wasn't getting enough rest, so it needed to grab some more hours throughout the day. And I
right.
hate that because I do not use my CPAP machine like I should. Like, I've not used it in over a month, and that is absolutely horrible. It's
Got to
it's
get on
it's
that.
so horrible. Like,
But
I
see, just like somebody like yourself, who you openly admit you're up and down all night. If you were sleeping with Jay every night, that would disturb him.
well, it wouldn't, just because he's a wall guy. So no matter what way our bedroom is, he has to sleep up against the wall. Now, I
Okay.
used to be like that years ago. And then when I got with him, he took that spot from me. So yeah, he's up the up. I sleep up against the wall guy, mooned out, bowed out. So that he doesn't hear when
Right.
I get up and stuff like that. And we got that mattress that doesn't move. Like, when the other person moves, it doesn't
Oh
move
yeah.
you. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I get out to bed, go pee or do whatever I got to do, and slip back in, and he doesn't know it. Yeah,
Right.
he's still
Right.
sound asleep. He's still sound
Right.
asleep.
Well, and another thing I think too about having separate rooms, not just sleeping separate, but separate rooms. I think it's important because have you ever had a day that, like, I'm the most extroverted introvert I know. Like, I love people.
Right.
There are days I will eat people up, go around people, be social, everything. And there's days I don't want to see a soul. I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want nothing. Well, what I'm trying to say is, when you come home, you escape that. So home is your escape from the world. But your room is your escape from everything and everybody. And
Everything.
sometimes you love your partner, you love your kids, but you might want 15 or 20 minutes just to be in your space by yourself. And most people will escape to the bathroom and sit on the toilet for 20 minutes so they can get
Yeah.
that time. When you have your own room, you can like I've told my husband before, he's like, I just want to go to my room for a little bit, and he's like, okay, babe, that's fine,
Right.
and I'll come to my space and kind of decompress on my own, and I know that that's my personal space. You know what I'm saying? It's
That's your
decorated
your
the way
me
I like
time.
it. Yep, it's decorated the way I like it. The temperature in the room's the way I like it. The feng shui is the way I like it. Like, everything's the way I want it. That is my personal space. And I think everybody needs to have their own personal space.
I do
No, I
too.
don't care how old you are.
No, yeah. I mean, that is so true. And I think that when you come into your own space, you will definitely welcome it with open arms, because you
Yeah,
will embrace that so much, because you'll be like, this is my zen. This is
yeah,
my oh,
exactly.
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 I'm
And
curious
like I
to
said,
see what people have to say. We'll see more people opening up, saying, "Yeah, me and my partner, we sleep, separately, and it's amazing." Or we're gonna hear some people say, "Oh, no, 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 you're just asking for disaster and stuff like that." But you're not. You're not. It's being respectful of each other and letting each other have their own space.
well, what you were saying there, I noticed what I was telling you in the first TikTok I posted about it. But then the more TikToks I post about it, because I mention it from time to time in my TikToks, people will say, "Yeah, me and my husband sleep. We've been doing it for 20 years, and we're happier than ever." I've noticed more people willing to come out and talk about it and
And be
admit
open
it.
about it,
Yeah, but
so they're
I
not being
honestly think
judged.
we need to normalize it. It's very normal. If you choose
Yes,
not, it's fine. But that also goes to say, and that's another thing I need, and that's a totally different subject. But I also think it's, don't don't look at somebody's marriage and assume. You know what I'm saying? I think every marriage, it's what works for them. Whatever works
Exactly. That
for
is so well put. Just because,
yeah,
one couple is not doing exactly what you do and what's by the book doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. You got to
that's
do
right.
what works for you in your relationship.
Right. Like you might have some couples that are swingers, and they go out here and they're with different people and they've been together 20 or 30 years. I would look at somebody and somebody be like, I would never do that. Well, honey, it's working for them. They've been together 20 or 30 years, and in
Yes.
this we're living in a world where that's unheard of. So whatever works for you works for you, you know.
Whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats
That's
your boat.
right.
Well, I
That's
think I
right.
think this was a good little episode that we had. Shedding some light on you know a new way of making. I feel like making your relationship better. That
Right.
might be why some relationships are grumpy with each
Yeah.
other because they don't have their personal space. So this
Yeah.
might be a page from our book to yours to better your relationship.
I recommend to everybody, if you haven't slept separate, try it. If you don't like it, go back to sleeping together. You ain't hurting them. If you have the space, some people don't have space, but if you
That's
have
true.
enough space to have your own space, have your own space. You will not
Invest in
regret
it.
it. I promise you. Yeah,
Decorate it how you want. Well,
that's
y'all,
right.
this has been an amazing episode as always. We want y'all to let us know in the comments. Do you and your significant other sleep separately? If so, if not, do you think it causes problems? Does it make your relationship better? Our next podcast that we're going to be airing is going to be family ties. How families are today compared to how they were years ago. All the difference has changed and everything. And that episode is I think will be a good one because there is so much that has changed from those times.
Yeah,
I'll give you a perfect example. Growing up, we didn't have cell phones back then, and it was okay. You can go outside and play, come home before the street lights come on.
yeah,
Now these days with kids, it's all cell phone, cell phone, cell phone. They don't go outside and play anymore.
yeah.
Like what would you say before we end our show, Bridget? What's one thing that you can say has drastically changed from then and now?
Well, going on the family ties thing, I think that's more about the bond of family, but we will talk about some family habits that have changed as well. In that, family dynamic period has changed, and that's
Yeah,
definitely what we'll get into. But I think years ago, families were much closer. Like the saying, "Family is family." That was that's the way we thought and believed, and family come first. So I think this, the later generations, I don't think family means as much to them as it used to. I really don't.
no, I don't. That has changed for a lot of people. It really
Yep.
has.
Yep.
Well, y'all, we hope y'all have enjoyed our show. We're gonna end it, and I'm Holly,
And
and
I'm Bridget.
we say goodnight.
Bye.